Hi, my name is Christine. I'm a violinist and a resident in pediatric neurology.
Hi, my name is also Christine. I play the piano and I'm a third year student at Harvard Medical School.
Hey everyone, I'm Nikolai, also a medical student at Harvard. I play cello.
And we have two other members, Enchi and Andrew, who will be recording their intros separately, but you'll hear from them soon. For this performance, we were actually able to play together in person, which was really nice, but we were, of course, wearing masks and standing 6 feet apart. And I think all of us kind of found that that was the most challenging part of this performance. I think it was interesting in reflecting that the masks made it a lot harder to have facial expressions and to communicate in that way, which is such a big part of playing chamber music. And so the body language was more difficult to come across. The eye contact was harder, standing so far apart and having a hard time hearing one another. And just not being able to see each other's faces, I think added a new layer of challenge to the communication and to playing together. But there was a lot of eyebrow action, and we still managed to sort of just listen more carefully to each other. And I think a parallel with medicine is also just the challenge of masks and how that's made nonverbal communication with patients harder as well. Specifically for pediatric patients, I find not being able to smile at them or make facial expressions and play games with them in that way makes us more scary, and behind a mask and a face shield we just look like aliens. And so I think that that level of barrier has made both playing chamber music and relating to patients a little bit more difficult, and yet I think it also makes us appreciate just that nonverbal communication so much more. And I think the last thing I kind of took away from this performance was just that playing music together has been such a comfort during the pandemic, and being able to share our music with friends, family, and patients virtually has been a highlight of this otherwise very lonely time.
I completely agree with all of that. I think what stands out in my mind is all the times that we were rehearsing and we couldn't use the same spaces that we could before because of the pandemic. So we had to get very creative in all of our rehearsal spaces, including bringing this keyboard and having to drive it and carry this very heavy keyboard. And sometimes we would play outside and people would stop and listen to us, and that was a lot of fun too. So I think one of my takeaways was that I definitely felt very grateful that there are other people who loved this experience and loved music enough to be willing to come up with all these creative ways to rehearse and drag the keyboard around. So I agree that having this group and being able to still play music in person was a huge source of comfort and inspiration to me during the pandemic. So overall, I'm very thankful for this experience.
And I'll similarly echo everything that's already been said. I thought it was quite a challenge to play with masks and to find the rehearsal space, but it was so worth it. One of the few benefits to come out of all of this, just like in medicine, how we're now really thinking about how to use virtual care as it should be used, from the music in the music world, we've been able to share more of our performances with our family members and friends and record more than I think we used to. So it's actually been nice to reach my grandparents, who I didn't used to share as much music with, and also my family. So that's something that I hope will continue. We'll continue to do some more recordings, even virtually when we can't all be in the same place.
Hi everyone, my name is Enchi and I am a violinist and fourth year medical student at Harvard. Recording the Dvorak piano quintet was actually quite a lot of fun to do and very different from recording in normal times, even though we were there in person, because as you could see, first of all, we were all masked, and then second of all, we were also sort of socially distanced too, which made it interesting to try to listen to each other given the acoustics of the room that we were in. For the most part, I felt like I was trying to catch up to the sounds that I was hearing, and because of that, there would be a little bit of delay between what I heard and what I played, which made it so that I'd have to adapt by trying to stay ahead of whatever I was hearing. So that was definitely quite an interesting experience to have for this.
Hi, my name is Andrew. I'm a physician assistant and I play viola. I think there's a lot of parallels between medicine and music, most especially the way that both are combine the intellectual and the emotional, the empathetic. And especially during this pandemic, I, for one, have noticed that both music and medicine can be therapeutic for the practitioner and both the patient and the doctor, the audience member and the performer. One of the ways that I've stayed sane through this pandemic has been preparing the Dvorak piano quintet, and I hope that you enjoy it. We certainly put a lot of love into it, and that love fed back out to us, and hopefully will feed back to you as well. Enjoy.